Welcome to Kankakee Podcast, where we talk about the people and places of Kankakee County. I'm Jake LaMore, and this is a bonus episode with some of the cast and crew of the Kankakee Valley Theater Association. And the production we are talking about today is Elf Jr. And I can't believe we're already talking about Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's and just all the holidays that is already here. And we're welcomed by the director of Elf Jr., Paula Sutter. And then Brady, what was your last name?
I'm Brady Perzee.
Perzee, thank you. Brady Perzee, who plays Buddy in Elf Jr. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good to have you guys back.
Thanks for having us.
Or good to have you back, Paula.
Yeah.
I think this is like your fourth, at least your third or fourth time being here. Brady, this is your first time, so welcome.
Thank you.
So I feel like, Elf should be self-explanatory, but I know there has to be at least a handful of people that have no idea what Elf is, or they know the name, but they never saw it. They never saw the movie. So I guess we should probably just start there, right? Like a synopsis of what Elf is.
Sure. And it is hard to believe that people maybe not have seen it.
Right? Since it was 2003?
Especially with all the merchandise that's out there.
Oh my gosh.
It's the story of an elf, a human who got in Santa's sack and brought back to the North Pole and was raised by Santa and elves. And then he finds out that he's not an elf because in the movie, obviously, they can play a little bit better with the height images, but he's like 6'5" and the rest of them are like 4'2". So he finds out he's human and he goes to New York to meet his real family, and laughter ensues.
Yes. Oh my gosh. There's just so many. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. It's just like a must to watch. I remember sitting down with my son and getting him to watch it for the first time. I'm like, you are going to love this movie. And he thought it was absolutely hilarious. So we watch it every holiday season now.
Yeah, it's just got a good message, and it's got a lot of sight gags that kids love. So, the spaghetti thing is just one of their favorite things. So.
Yeah. So Brady, do you actually get to do that on stage?
I do get to do that on stage. I don't really eat it, but I start to get everything together.
You gotta go all in, man. This is acting, maybe we don't do the crazy method acting, right?
We just don't have enough time in the show to do it.
That's true. Yeah,
because
then you gotta clean up.
So all the elements are there, but we stop it just before he goes to take a bite. So,
and then is that when the stage lights go out, probably, and on to the next scene?
Yeah. Well, they the movie's 2 hours and the full stage play is 2 hours, and then they cut this down to 1 hour. So they cut a lot of stuff really out. Short. So and they rearrange stuff. So like one of the songs we sing in the show is sung in a different section in the full version. Okay. It's crazy how they do it, but they do it and piece it together to make it make sense. And it, for the most part, it does, but they did take out some of the funnier things. We added a few things back in, just little nods to the movie. So
sure.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Are the junior productions usually an hour? Or I feel like I thought maybe they're like 90 minutes.
No. MTI, Music Theater International, they have kid sections versions that are 30-minute shows. Then the junior versions are 60-minute shows. And then they have regular 90-minute full-length kid shows. Okay. Those are just regular shows. They don't have a title to it. So, but yeah, the junior versions are usually all an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Now, Paula, this is your 31st show directing. And Brady, what show is this for you?
At KVTA, this is my first big show, but I've done shows since 2018, and I've done 2 a year, so maybe 12, 13.
Oh, wow. That's quite, so you've got quite a bit under your belt then.
Yeah.
So what about this role? Do you remember the first time being introduced to Elf?
Yes, actually, because my family, we all love the movie so much, and my sisters and my mom, they all introduced me to it, and we watched it for the first time when I was really little. And then as I started getting more into musical theater, Buddy was actually one of my dream roles that I've always wanted to do. So when they announced that they were doing Elf, I was like, I have to audition for this. So I've been wanting to do the show for so long. So I'm so grateful that I get to do it.
What's your favorite part of the production?
I know this is a general answer, but just meeting all the new people, because I've done summer camps at KVTA, but not big shows. So I haven't met too many people. And I'm starting to like make really, really good friends. So I'm really grateful for that too.
Yeah, that is one of the cool parts about being involved in something that's pretty much county and beyond county wide, because you do have some families and actors and actresses, even production crew that are outside of, well, you yourself are from Clifton, which is not super far outside of Kankakee County, but still.
We have somebody from Watsika, Clifton, Ashcombe, Shabance, Peatone, Monee, Mantino. They're coming from all over.
Yeah, far and wide.
Yep.
What are some of your favorite lines in the show?
There is a lot of like the iconic lines from the show where like he says he's singing in Macy, so he starts singing, and that part's really funny. And then it's just like the funny moments from the show. I can't think of a line right now. I'm blinking. But it's just like all the iconic moments that you see in the movie, they also brought it into the show. So it's really fun to like just bring it to life and let people see it all.
So what's your spin on Buddy then? Were there some things you saw like Will Ferrell do, or even like watching the actual show, the musical of Elf, and seeing how that Buddy did their bit? You're like, I think I want to do this part like this, or...
I try to not make it completely like the movie, because I feel like, not that it'll be boring, but people have seen it before, so they want to kind of see something new,
a little different.
So I do like take the hints of everything that he does, but then I just like make it more energetic, or make it less energetic, or sad and happy, or whatever.
Yeah, and Paula, that's something you come across all the time. Almost every production that you're a part of, that you're directing, you kind of have to find that balance between doing things that they're expecting, and then adding some twists in there, right? Mm-hmm. How do you choose how to create that balance? Because that's tough.
Yeah. First off, when Tyler and I were here before, I told Soju that I like to let my actors try their own version.
Yes.
And then I fine tune it from there, because I need to see what they can do. And it is a balancing act. It's like if they do something that I'll be like, that just doesn't really work. Let's try this. Or even in Brady's case, he is very good. He is hilarious in everything that his movements are just unbelievable. But sometimes I even tell him, go a little bit more than what you're doing. And I think it'll be even funnier because the audience will get a little bit more out of it. But it's just seeing what they can do and then kind of fine tuning to get my vision and their vision to be together.
And another thing to point out too is, Elf, the movie, is not a musical.
No.
But this is.
Yes.
And that's one of the big differences between the movie and the stage production.
And there's some cute songs in here, although they play in my head at 3 a.m, happy all the time. Not really. Not at 3 a.m.
You're like, I'm trying to sleep.
Yes. So there's some cute songs in here, and the kids do a great job. We have 53 kids in the show. So.
Oh my gosh, this is a big show. Well, as Tyler McMahon, when he was here before, was poking fun at you like to have big casts.
Yes. I'm known for that. This is actually a smaller cast for me. I usually have more than 60, but I have 53.
Because I think I can't remember what show was that you and Tyler were here talking about.
For Susical.
That was for Susical, and that was like almost 70 people, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Not too far from this one. So as we're talking about this, just keep in mind the shows are Saturday, November 23rd. Actually, 2 shows.
Correct.
On Saturday, there's a matinee, and then there's an evening, and then Sunday, November 24th at 2 p.m. So it's all one weekend.
Yep.
That you have the opportunity to see this. And that is the weekend right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's the weekend we always do our first youth production in the fall.
Okay.
And because the show is only about 60 minutes, I've added to it. So prior to the show, we have a pre-show caroling I have 10 kids that are singing some wonderful carols that audience isn't going to know. And actually, the audience doesn't know they're going to participate in one of them. And then at the end of the show, we're doing audience sing-along to test their Christmas spirit.
Ah, okay.
So we've got some fun things. Yeah, we've got some fun things planned. And it's really, I think it's going to be really cute.
Oh, cool. That sounds like fun. Who are some of the people, Brady, that you would like to mention that are a part of the show? That obviously we couldn't fit the whole cast in here.
Yeah,
They try.
They try. Yeah, I'm sure if we put the invitation out there, we could try to cram as many people in here. But some of your cast members, what are some of the ones you want to give a shout out to, or just talk about?
Abby Purcell is my Jovi that we act together with, and she's actually friends with my cousin. I haven't met her before, but we are getting along really well, and she's such a nice person. She's so kind and so funny, and we have such fun at the rehearsals, and I feel like we just play off of each other really well.
Is she I'm sorry, Joey?
Jovi.
Jovi. I always mess up her name.
She's so good, and her voice is unreal. She has a really good solo towards the end of the show, and it's so good. And then also Olivia, Paul, and Cole are Emily Hobbs, Michael Hobbs, and Walter Hobbs. And we just have so much fun together too. And I feel like we go together like a little family in a way. And it's just so much fun.
You're supposed to,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's so much fun.
Right. And what's interesting about all of these roles is that the whole show is kids and teenagers. And so, like the people that are playing the adults are kids or teenagers. So it's interesting to see them play adult roles. At least I've always found that fascinating.
Yeah, they're doing a good job, though. They really are. They're especially Walter. That's Paul Beischer. He's like 6'3".
Oh my gosh!
He looks like an adult. Yeah. He plays the part just fine.
People are going to be wondering: is he really a teenager? Is he really? Should he be in the show?
And all of them that he mentioned, they're really good. And Abby, she was our Moana 2 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah,
the name sounded familiar, and I wondered if that's why, because I did see that show. And she was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there isn't, all our kids are doing really great. Even our what we call our littles. We have 4 little ones that are like 7, and even they're doing fantastic.
That's great. So what else do you want to put out there about this show, Paula or Brady?
I just think it's a great way to start. I'm sure people have already started their holiday season.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have people that already have their trees up already.
Yep.
But it's a great way to bring the family together and enjoy an hour and 15-minute show. And just, they're going to go home feeling really good because the kids do a great job. The songs will stick in their head. Even though they're not songs that they're familiar with, they're very catchy songs. And I think they'll catch on to them real quick. So we encourage everyone to come out and just enjoy it.
Okay. How about you, Brady? Anything you want to?
This is just like a great show, like she said, to bring the family together, and with it being such a famous movie and people being able to watch like a musical come to life, and they're so fun. Like you said, the songs are very catchy. The dances are so much fun, and all the actors are doing so great. It's going to be such an amazing show, and I think people will really, really like it, and it'll be a great start to the Christmas season.
Another thing that's really cool about the KVTA Young People's Theater is that not only do you do these 3 shows, but you do a lot of school shows too.
We do.
There's how many of those?
4. We do 2 shows on Thursday and 2 shows on Friday, 9:30 and 12:30. And we have 4,000 kids that come. We were sold out within the first 4 days.
I bet you were.
Yeah. We actually have a waiting list for this show for schools to get in. So
wow.
Yeah, it's and we're doing Shrek in the spring, and a lot of the schools have already made their reservation for Shrek for the same reason.
I would too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is at the Lincoln Cultural Center, and that's what, 1,000?
1,060, I think.
Okay, so just a little over.
Yeah. So the difference between them, though, is for the kids shows, we don't do the pre-show or the after show because we have to keep it to an hour or just over because of all their busing situations and stuff. So unfortunately, they don't get the full effect, but they're gonna love it just as it is.
And if I'm not mistaken, you actually you have understudies, and sometimes you let them perform in those shows, right?
Actually, we do not have understudies for this show.
Oh, interesting.
Buddy is not going to get sick.
Don't do it.
I won't.
If anyone sees...
We've had sickness this last week and a half. We've had at least two or three kids out each night.
'Tis the
so
season.
We're getting it over before the show. But yes, when we have the understudies, we usually let them do one of the school shows.
You typically do have understudies, right? Or not all...
We've had it on and off.
Oh, okay.
I don't think producers had understudies.
Okay.
It just depends on the director and the show. And I felt that this show, these kids know every line in the whole script, no matter whether it's their part or not. Even the 7-year-olds can say his lines. I just figured if something happens, we can grab one of the kids. That's what happened in Nemo. We had somebody get sick, and one of the cast members just stepped right in and took over that day. So
yeah, pull a straw.
Yeah.
Pull a number out of the hat, whatever works. Okay, so again, this is November 23rd and 24th, 3 shows between the 2 days at Lincoln Cultural Center in Kankakee. You can get your tickets at kvta.org. And also just probably want to brush over the upcoming shows for the rest of the season. I know you mentioned Shrek already.
Yep. Well, I will say November 22nd, we have auditions for Steel Magnolias.
Oh, yes.
That's going to be the last day in January and first. It's the last weekend, first weekend of February, like January 31st and February 1st, 2nd. And that'll be at our Black Box. And then Shrek will be in March. That will be at LCC. And then Matilda is our last show. And that's an actual adult show, but it has kids in it.
Right.
And that those auditions, I believe, are December 7th. And that will also be at LCC because that's also a bigger cast that's got a pretty big set. So
yeah, I've heard that's a really great show.
Yeah. So a lot of opportunities for the adults this year, a lot of opportunities for kids. Kids have the 2 junior shows, and then there will be some kids in Matilda. And then the adults, of course, Steel Magnolias, unfortunately, the guys don't get to be in it, but 6 women. But
well, that probably works in in your favor. Sometimes it's hard to get those male characters to come out.
Yeah, and then December 6th, pretty sure it's December 6th. We're having a event at our Black Box. We're doing a book in hand Christmas Carol reading.
Oh.
So we just cast that. They're casting that this week, and we'll be there doing a Christmas Carol, actually a new version that Tyler has written.
Oh, wow.
So
cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So I'm sure information will be be about that pretty soon, but because they just had auditions the other night. So
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So
we're busy.
Yeah. No, just a little bit.
Just a little.
Yeah. So kvta.org for all of that. Brady or Paula, anything else you want to add about Elf Jr.?
I'm just really thankful for this opportunity because, like I said, I've wanted to do this for so long, and it's such an amazing show. So if you can come, please come. It's going to be so much fun, and everybody will love it so much.
And I just want to give a testament to this young man because not only is he an elf, he was one of the leads in Little Women at his school. So he's been doing double rehearsals.
Oh my gosh,
double
dude.
Script learning.
Man.
Yeah, I just got him back last week full time.
Wow.
The directors there and myself, we kind of worked out a schedule where he could be there, then I could have him for a day or 2. And we worked our schedule around his for the most part. But he's been learning 2 shows at one time.
And 2 totally different shows.
Both are musical, so he had to learn the music for that one. So we give him a lot of credit. And that's what I keep telling the other kids. Some of you have 10 lines. Learn those lines. Brady has had 2 scripts, and he knows it already. So he's a hard worker.
I just want to see a crossover. Little Women.
I try not to say the lines at the same time when I'm rehearsing.
Has that happened to you at all?
It hasn't yet. It almost did yesterday, actually. When we had rehearsal last night, we were talking about it. And Sophia and Anna, they also go to my school, and they were talking to me about it. And I started saying one of my lines, but it was my lines from Little Women, and it was just crossing over. I was like, wait, no, can't say that. Can't say that. Buddy. So I have to get back into Buddy now.
It was that kind of a night, though, because Abby was saying some things. She was doing other people's lines. She goes, oh, that's not my line. And somebody else was doing it. So it was just a funny night. So
yeah. I would love to see Buddy the Elf break out in something from Little Women. And then Buddy the Elf be in Little Women. Yeah.
That would have been funny. I went and saw him in Little Women. He did an excellent job. And he is doing a fabulous... In fact, a friend of mine was at the same performance for Little Women that I was at, and she came up to me at intermission and said, please tell me that the guy playing Laurie is your buddy. And I go, he sure is. She goes, I'm watching him, and I know it's Little Women, but all I see is Buddy. And I said, you should, because he embodies the role very well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And just to remind people, too, that, if you... have kids that want to get involved in theater, like anyone is welcome to audition for any of the shows.
Yep. As long as they're 6.
So, yeah.
They have to be 6 before the first performance date. Yeah. And then there's no end date. No end age. They can be 99, whatever.
Right.
So, but I do encourage, I always tell parents, sometimes they'll contact me and they'll say, they're just scared about auditions. So as a director, I always say, well, bring them to an audition and let them watch and see that it's very casual. It's not stressful at all. At least I don't think it is. We try to make it as easy for the kids as possible. And a lot of times that will help relieve their anxiety. But I also encourage them when we have camps in the summer to sign them up for our camp.
That's a good way to ease into it. It's a great way to
find out about theater and make some and see what it's about. It's not near the time commitment that a show is, obviously, but it does.
Because it's usually a week?
Usually 2.
2 weeks,
yeah.
Okay.
And the only thing is they need to watch our website, because once we post it and open it, it's usually booked within the first 24 hours. Okay. Right, Brady?
Yeah,
He's done camp the last couple of years with me, and we only take 27 kids for each session.
Oh, so, that'll fill up very quickly, because that's less than even most of your shows.
Yes.
That you host.
And that's because we do it at our black box. And in order to do anything decent, you just can't put more than that many kids on the stage.
Sure. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of kids to handle. So. Okay. Well, Paula and Brady, so good to meet you, Brady. And Paula, always good to see you. And Elf Jr., go see it. Who doesn't love Buddy the Elf?
That's right. Yeah. Wear your ugly Christmas sweater. We don't care. Have fun. I have there'll be a stand-up buddy out in the hallway that they can take their picture with. And there's another little surprise that'll be roaming the hallways that they can get their picture with. So,
all right.
Yeah, they should come out and just enjoy the afternoon or the evening. They won't regret it.
Okay. Well, thank you both again.
Well, thank you.
That concludes this episode of Kankakee Podcast. I'm Jake LaMore. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Kankakee Podcast. Shout out to Stephanie Vanderweide for supporting the show each month through Patreon. If you want your name announced on a future episode, you can sign up at patreon.com/Kankakee Podcast. Special thanks to our sponsors, Chicago Dough Company, Noble Dairy Queen Stores, Frank's Appliance Center and Sleep Source, Pigosh Engineering, King Music, Little Me Studio, Taco John's, D. Westfall Jewelers, and Edward Jones Financial Advisor Adam Elroy. Kankakee Podcast is produced by the fine team at Pathfinder, a full-service marketing agency in downtown Kankakee. Learn more at yourpathfinder.io. Our theme song is by Lupe Carroll.
This river